welcome to another edition of Mississippi Stories. You might notice a little bit of difference here. Yeah, that's right. We are live. This is our inaugural live edition of Mississippi Stories, and I'm really excited about our first guest today. And I'm coming not from being a fashion expert. I know. You're looking at me right now thinking, Marshall, you are literally the picture of fashion. But no, I know very little about it, but I do know about creativity. And our guest today is an up-and-coming and getting to be known nationally, fantastic, incredibly talented and gifted designer. He's also right here from Mississippi as well. He's from Vicksburg, Mississippi, where he grew up. And Raymond Banks, Raymond, I tell you, it is such an honor and a thrill to be talking to you.
Thank you. It's such an honor to be here with you. You know,
really,
you're Marshall Ramsey, the cartoonist.
Yeah, but you're Raymond Banks, like who has been in New York and L.A. His work has been on stage. Tell me what that's like, because that has to be incredible to be sitting there in the audience and seeing your work on some of the biggest stages.
It's surreal.
Yeah,
I still see my work today, and I'm like, wow, who's the designer? I was like, dude, that's you. Like,
yeah,
that's your work, and it's surreal.
I love your journey, and number one, I love the fact that you're from here. That's always great. But I just love the fact that a lot of this has been kind of almost accidental.
Yes.
I love stories like that, because I think a lot of people think that their path to success is linear and that they've got to do this, and this, and they're never going to be successful.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, it started out from a bow tie.
Yeah, I literally made a bow tie the night before a Black History Month program.
Yeah.
Cut some fabric that my mother had imported from Africa. Mom, I know you probably would never forgive me for that, but look at my career.
It turned out well.
It turned out very well.
Yeah.
And I made it, and people started asking who made that bow tie. And I was like, I did.
Yeah.
Well, can you make me one? Sure, why not? And from there, my career just blossomed.
It snowballed. So
it did.
What literally was a step from you making a bunch of bow ties? And I know you worked at Dillard's at one point.
Correct.
But how did you get from literally creating bow ties to creating some fantastic urban fashion?
People started asking me to show up to different fashion shows. I was like, yeah, I'll do a fashion show. Well, it got to a point where people were tired of seeing bow ties. Yeah. I got tired of making bow ties and putting them on them. I was like, I need something new.
Yeah.
Well, at the time, a lot of high fashion companies, there were a lot of cultural appropriation that was going on. And a friend at Jackson State was like, hey, come do a fashion show for us. I was like, well, I can't do bow ties because I'm tired of looking at them. Yeah. And that's when I created Hoodvenchy. Yeah. It was supposed to be just a little mock on what was going on in the fashion culture at the time.
Yeah.
But it ended up being the brand that it is today.
I mean, it's amazing because, like you said, Hoodvenchy kind of just came out of what you were doing and was small, and now literally. And you were just telling me when you came, I'm surprised you're even here. You've been all over the place. You've been living out of your car. You've been all over. What have you been doing the last 25 days?
The last 25 days, well, by day, I'll tell people I'm in corporate America. I work for Ameristar Casino. So I work, I design, I travel, and I sleep occasionally.
Oh, wow.
Those are my 25 days.
Yeah.
Within the 25 days, LA has been on the radar, New York and Paris.
Paris?
Yes.
I knew about LA and New York. Paris, wow.
So Paris came about a month and a half ago. Yeah. I got an invite to Paris Fashion Week. It's like, Raymond, how are you going to pull it off? You have New York Fashion Week, LA Fashion Week, seemingly right behind each other.
Yeah.
That's how my 25 days are.
Wow. Oh, you're welcome to take we got about 15 more minutes. You're welcome to take a nap if you'd like to during this. You can catch a quick snooze. I'm just talking to the camera. I mean, like I said, I mentioned earlier, I mean, you and I were talking about this dream thing, you know, and I mean, like 8 years old, I remember seeing all the cartoons in the paper going, man, I want to make fun of people for a living and get paid for it. Well, no, but I want to be a cartoonist. And I remember walking up to my dad saying, I want to be a cartoonist, which was probably the weirdest thing an 8-year-old could tell his dad, I guess. But he didn't say no, you need to go do something else. He said, yeah, you'll be the best one ever. You obviously had parents that were very supportive of you, but they also probably created an atmosphere where you could create and you could kind of learn. When did you realize that you really loved fashion?
It was at a very young age. My mother would tell a story, school shop, every year that you shop for school, you get new clothes, you get new shoes.
Yeah.
We went to Nashville, shoe shopping, there was nothing in store for me. Went to Monroe, there was nothing in store for me. Went to Vicksburg, there was nothing in the store.
Was it because you had big feet or because you just didn't like what you saw?
I just didn't like what I saw.
Gotcha.
And she's probably going to kill me for saying this, but she said that she took the shoe off the rack and she got frustrated. She was like, I probably hit you about 3 times with the shoe. So I think fashion was beat into me.
Yeah.
But,
Love that.
but before that, I loved dressing up.
Yeah.
I love putting on clothes.
Yeah.
I always watched my parents get ready to go out to different events, and they always just, when they stepped out, they were dressed to the nines.
Yeah.
They were dressed in the most spectacular clothes they were. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do that someday.
You're going to do that someday.
Yes.
So that's one. And you went to college. You went to another university first, but then you ended up at Alcorn.
Correct.
Yeah. And that really seemed to be a good fit for you, which
Yes.
that's not meant to be a dad joke, but for clothes. But tell me what it was about the atmosphere at Alcorn that helped you get where you are today.
It was so welcoming of everything that I had.
Yeah.
There's a organization called the Trend Modeling Squad.
Yeah.
The Trend Modeling Squad really brought out the fashion maven that was already in me.
Yeah.
So once I got a chance to work with the Trend, I was like, you know what? You're onto something. There's so many people that I got a chance to work with, seeing different cultures, styles, going to visit other schools and organizations who were open to fashion. So being at Alcorn and seeing that and was able to hop on this train with the Trend, it heightened everything that I have today.
And then you ended up, I mean, at that point you realized, and I get this because creatives, and being one myself, we're really good at the right brain stuff.
Yes.
But the left brain stuff, which is the business side of
Yes.
things, you realize you also needed to probably go get a master's and work on
Yes.
that. Talk about
Correct.
that process.
So when first off, when I applied for my master's, I applied for the wrong program. So the program that I received my master's degree from, it's
Yeah.
not what I wanted to do.
Really?
It wasn't until maybe a semester and a half in, I looked at my whole degree plan and my
Yeah.
title. I was like, what is this?
You and I are like related, I think, because that sounds like something I would do.
And I contacted my advisor. I was like, fashion management and global marketing. She was like, yeah, Raymond. I was like, what's that? That's not my major.
Yeah.
She was like, yes, it is. I was like, oh, wow. She's like, are you going to quit? I was like, no, I'm already a semester and a half in. Like, I literally have about 3 months left. Why would I stop?
Yeah.
And it just happened. But I met some amazing people at Parsons.
Yeah,
like,
man.
amazing people.
And for those that people don't know much about Parsons, it's a really good school.
Yes.
Yeah.
It has a 3% acceptance rate.
3%.
Yes.
So you must have been doing something right to get in.
I guess my portfolio was
Yeah.
strong enough. I'm assuming.
Tell us a little bit before we head out. I'm about to say I really enjoy this conversation.
Yes.
We could do this for about 4 hours, especially the creative process, because I'm interested in that. And, I always love talking to authors or musicians, and they talk about when's their most creative. Are you like an early morning, you sit down and you start sketching out ideas?
No, not at all. I'm one of those 3 a.m., 4 a.m. type creatives.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay, so you're staying up all night and
Yes.
you're cranking it out.
Correct. I wake up. If I have a big project, I may get up about noon and think about what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
But I won't think about it anymore until after midnight.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, is it because it's quiet or just because that's when you seem to your muse comes in and
That's
says,
when my muse come in. Like, that's when everything starts to roll. And also, I'm a people watcher. I would literally park in a parking lot and watch people. It's like, what would they look like on the runway in one of my pieces?
Really?
Yes.
See, that was really cool because you did a local show. You did one in Vicksburg
did.
back in, was it October? I think
October,
it
yes.
was.
It was
Yeah.
October 1st. That's when they gave me Raymond Banks Day. And a lot of those things were inspired from different places I've been in, also Vicksburg.
Yeah. Raymond Banks Day.
Yes.
Okay. That was like pinch yourself kind of moment, wasn't it?
It was. 'Cause
Yeah.
I didn't expect it to happen. They said the mayor's there. I was like, okay, cool. Make
So
sure he
mayor
has a-
flags.
Yes. I was
Yeah.
like, make sure he has a seat. And they was like, no,
Yeah.
he wants to see you. And I was like, for what? I have about 39 models I need to get ready. What does he want?
Yeah.
And he came out there and he was like, can I present something to you at this point? I'm like, yeah, sure. And he was like, today's Raymond Banks Day. And I was like, wow, did this really just happen?
That's one thing I've discovered in the time that I've lived in Mississippi. When people do well on the national stage, we love that, and that's why I'm so excited to get to talk to you about that because you're killing it on the national
you,
stage.
thank
You're doing
you.
great. Of course, you've got a website.
Yes, I do.
What's that?
Hoodvenchy.com.
That's easy enough.
Yes.
So, you got that. Where'd the name come from? I mean, how'd you come up with it? I kind of gathered how everything went together.
So I seen this phrase once that says "ghetto until proven fashionable."
Yeah.
And I was like, that stuck with me for a long time. And I took hood from it. From hood, it's really not the best thing in the world. It's really the undesirable to certain people. And I took Vinchy from the fashion brand Givenchy. And I cut both of them in half. I put hood and Vinchy, but here in the South, people aren't going to say Vinchy. They're going to say how it's seen, Vinchy.
Vinchy.
So that's how Hoodvenchy.
Hoodvenchy.
Yes.
All right, so I'm going to crack into the magic book of questions here.
Alrighty.
Playwright George C. Wolfe once said that God created black people and black people created style.
Yes.
I love that.
Thank you.
So I think that's a great quote too. But you really, you've done a lot of work to help keep the work of Patrick Kelly alive.
Yes.
Designer. Tell them how Patrick Kelly influenced you.
Patrick Kelly is a huge influence. As you see, I'm wearing him today.
Yeah.
He's always with me.
Yeah.
I feel like Patrick Kelly had a phenomenal career in story.
Yeah.
But people don't know him because, first off, he's a black gay man from Mississippi.
Yeah.
At the time, it was shunned. It's still shunned.
Yeah.
And so my goal is to create Patrick's story. Let people know who he is, the works he's done. I've worked on it in Mississippi. I worked on it in San Diego. San Francisco, with the De Young Museum. And that's my goal, to keep his story alive. And not only him, but other black fashion creatives whose story is untold.
I just think, like you said, that his story was not known in Mississippi. You got to think about how much talent probably kind of went downstream without us ever finding out about it. So that's awesome that you're probably going to inspire some young designer down the road.
So.
Do you do that? Do you talk to, like, go back to schools and talk to them a little bit?
I haven't went to schools, but I did speak with the Catfish Row in the Smithsonian Museum. We had a merger. I spoke with them about where fashion and politics intersect.
Yeah.
And that was probably one of my biggest speaking gigs. I'm really not a big speaker. Even though I have a bachelor's degree in broadcast journalism, I'm not a big speaker at all.
So that's what you get. You're doing well. You're doing. Don't beat yourself up too much. I want to see if there's anything else here I missed out on. We're doing pretty well. Like I said, you were invited to be in New York Fashion Week and Los Angeles Fashion Week. You mentioned Paris and everything else. What are your ultimate goals down the road?
My ultimate goal, honestly, is just to inspire someone else to be better. That's my ultimate goal.
Really?
People always have these tangible things that they'll like to happen. I don't. I just want to inspire someone else to let them know, even though you're from Mississippi and there are certain stigmas that come with being from Mississippi, the world is so much broader.
Yeah.
And you can just go out there and create and make it happen.
And I found that too. It's like, and I think about back the 20 years, I'm glad I came here because I think I'm a better what I do because I'm here.
Yes.
But like you said, it's good to get outside of that a little bit. Let me ask you about the business side of this because, obviously you started small with one bow tie and you've built it to scale. Before we wrap up a little bit, how do you get from small and independent and you've got a website and everything else like that and get into stores and get known nationally and then worldwide?
First off, you have to take that leap. That leap of faith is the first thing, but you have to sit down and create a realistic business plan.
Yeah.
You have some people, they create a plan that's like, well, I'm going to be a millionaire in 30 days. Yeah. It's not going to happen. You have to make those small steps to get where you want to go.
So you got to do the work.
Yes, you have to do the work. You have to get on the ground and run before you can fly.
Raymond, I got to tell you, I really enjoyed meeting you and getting to talk to you a little bit about it. And I'm going to walk away from this interview wanting to do the work and do a lot harder work. So, thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's great. Very good. All right, well, stay tuned and thank you once again for watching Mississippi Stories, and we'll be back next week. Thank you for watching this episode of Mississippi Stories. Make sure to subscribe to the Mississippi Today YouTube channel and click the bell to be notified every time new video uploads.